I've loved Liverpool even before I ever set foot here because of the Beatles. Uh, I was probably one of the first people into the Beatles because I worked at Billboard at the time, and I did the charts, the British charts. I made sure they got printed, the one from the NME and the sheet music chart. And I made connections there to get British records sent to me. There were a lot I liked. I thought, the first Beatle record I heard was Love Me Do, naturally. It was their first record. I didn't particularly like it. But when I heard the second record, I was jumping up and down. It was, Please Please Me. To this day, it's my favorite. I know it's a very simple song and everything, but sometimes simple songs are best. And, I think that's what started my affair with Liverpool, and then all the great bands, Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas, and Jerry Marsden, Jerry and the Pacemakers, Cilla Black. It was a great, great scene that, all orchestrated by Brian Epstein, and it was, fantastic. But after Sire was founded, I looked everywhere for bands: Liverpool, Manchester, Glasgow, Sheffield, all over. And we signed Echo and the Bunnymen, and that's a great, great story if you want to hear it. I mean, it was announced that a group of Liverpudlian bands and one Mancunian band would be playing down on Tottenham Court Road in the YMCA. And I went down there. I had to climb down 7 flights of stairs. And I said, I better come up with something good here because I got to climb up those 7 flights of stairs. And the first band on was Echo and the Bunnymen. And I fell in love with them the first song I heard. And the whole set was brilliant. I stayed. The Julian Cope's band was the second act, and the third act I think was Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, if I'm not mistaken. But I left because I felt that I had found a gem beyond belief, and I still think that brilliant writers, great voice, great records, and But I also signed The Farm, with another very, very good band, Peter Hooton, and everybody here is so colorful. The managers of the bands are colorful, and people involved.
My history with Liverpool is not as complete as that, but there is an interesting story involved with mine. Years ago, I wrote a song that we put on an album by a group called the McCoys that had a #1 record called Hang On Sloopy. On the album, although it was done quite differently, was a song called Sorrow. And Sorrow was covered in the UK by the Merseybeats. The Merseys recorded it, and it became a very big hit. And because of that, when David Bowie was doing his pin-up album, he selected that as one of the songs he did, and then it was a huge hit for him at least throughout Europe and the United States as well.
Throughout the world.
Yeah. So basically, it's one of my favorite songs that I'd written, and to see it become a success. I had never been to Liverpool. I come to England a lot, but I had never been to Liverpool prior to this, and it sort of drove me here, and like Seymour, it's true the Beatles obviously are the center of everything, but when you realize that this is how it was through the port of Liverpool that American music, R&B, rock and roll came into Britain, and not through London. Certainly not. It was never played on the BBC, So it came in through Liverpool, American GIs bringing in records. I mean, I guess it was after the war, the air bases were still in existence, and there were still troops stationed here, and they would bring it in, and then that's how I think teenagers discovered it here, and that music was able to spread throughout the entire country. So from that standpoint, I was also interested in seeing the Mersey, and I didn't know what to expect other than, I go to a lot of conferences, but this one was really nice. The people were nice, the panels were well attended, and the discussions were vibrant, and you really felt you were getting a bit of history, perhaps from Seymour and I, and you were getting knowledge in addition from the other people that were that really were vocal with their points of view about the digital future, which is what I'm involved in, really. The Orchard is a digital distribution company.
Yeah, but you're still involved with music.
No, I'm still involved with music.
Without the music, who cares about how it's connected?
And truthfully, we could have chosen to go to dinner at a more relaxed time, but we're going to go earlier so that we can go out and see some more bands tonight.
Sat Bisler, who we both have great respect for, who does all the Musexpo things, whether they're here or in Finland or in London or in LA or in Perth, Australia. If he says something's good, we check him out. Very much has changed. I'm sorry to see, Eric's isn't here. One of the greatest gig I ever saw at Eric's, of course, was Echo and the Bunnymen. But when I signed the Pretenders, I had seen them only once at a small club up in West Hampstead, London, which I knew was Kluk's Clique, and then it had changed its name to the Moonrise or the Sunset. It was right next to the old Decca recording studios. And, she would be great if she was singing in the street. And the band were very good too, all of them. All 4 out of 4, great artists. But the first big gig I saw them at was the Pretenders upstairs at Eric's, and a lot of my bands played here, the Undertones, and this was the club. Must have been what the Cavern was in the '60s. Eric's was in the '70s and the early '80s.
Liverpool itself, I was surprised by how it seems to be young and exploding, in a positive way.
Yes.
I thought the event was great. I mean, I was really happy that I was invited here and would come back anytime. In fact, I was thinking I'd come back to visit Liverpool and spend more time. But I thought the showcases were great. The availability of getting from club to club was great. The distance in the city is short, and the bands that came from all over the world actually were impressive. So I think it was a very informative conference for the attendees, and also wonderful to be part of.
And I think that anytime, people from all over the world in our business are drawn together, it's very, very good, because ideas, sparks come out of it. It's especially important now because we are going through hard times. I mean, with physical sales going down and down every year, and digital coming up, but not fast enough, and it's good, and anything that helps show that there's still a support for music worldwide is great.